You ever have a dream or a nightmare that just kind of sticks with you? One that, like, no matter how hard you try to forget it, it just is still there. One that feels like you saw something you were definitely not supposed to see. Like you were transported in between reality and just saw some eldritch horror nonsense that's not meant for human understanding. Well, I kind of had one of these dreams last year. But before that, you may ask, who is this man? Why is he talking about his dream he had last year? And why is he in my house? Excellent questions. Just gonna answer two of them. My name is Linus, or Triple L, if you want to address me as my internet handle. I am a author of 2 web novels on tabas.io/Triple L, and I'm also of other shorter stories of varying lengths. I am also an amateur filmmaker here on YouTube. And last year, I had this nightmare that, for like ever since, that just made me paranoid and freaked out every time I see like a depiction of the main person at hand. Well, I will get into later. And it's just been like stuck in my head like a worm. So I've been like, why not tell it to the world? Might be some good content for anyone out there wanting to hear a weird fucking dream from a stranger. Well, should also start with, I am agnostic, I think it is. I mean, by meaning that I believe there is some godly force, or some divine force, but I don't know what or who, or I don't have seen evidence for it. I think that covers the range of being agnostic. I have no idea, I just did a quick Google search before this. But anyway, I believe there is some divine force, probably something, but I don't know who or what, but maybe, I think there's something. And I'm not really much of Christian belief either, so I celebrate Christmas and Easter, but that's just it. All of this will be important now that I start addressing the dream. And going into the dream, man, how do I start this? Well, I remember how I just kind of awoke inside this void, just endless space of like nothingness, just black. I felt like how, like the walls or the floor was like made of this black fur thing, and I could hear in the, like, just at the edge of my ears, I could hear this like constant whispering, just speaking to me in a language I didn't understand. It was like different voices as well, just a cacophony, just people I've heard like all my life. And I just stood there, and suddenly I wasn't alone anymore. Suddenly there were these grey, like I was in a crowd, like these silhouettes, just grey silhouettes, just listening to this other person speaking, this preacher. When I looked at it, like right above everyone was this like wooden platform. And they stood Jesus Christ. Now that may sound ridiculous, but it's how he looked. First off, he looked like this most stereotypical white Jesus Christ you can find on Google by just searching Jesus Christ on Google. Just think of him. I can put up an image of him here. But he looked wrong. Like he was being warned by something, like literally being warned by something. Because I remember distinctly how like his eyes were like hollow. And I could see how like the skin was hanging down. Like he was being worn like a skin suit. And you know in dreams how like sometimes his perspective changes, like sometimes you're standing like first person and sometimes you can be like third person. Well, that happened as well. Suddenly I was like a third person camera behind this Jesus figure, and I could see the crowd and I could still hear him. But along his back, I remember distinctly how there was like this, had like a cut, a big like fresh scar, like from the top of his head down to his crack. That had just like been bleeding profusely. You could obviously seen like he had been scooped out like that scooping machine from FNAF 5. And someone had sewn it back together using, I think it was like his hair, which was also just disturbing. And then I was back to my like first person view, and just standing there, like seeing it, knowing that this, like, of course I knew, like, in Christian law there's like this Jesus is, I think it's like he is God's son, but he's also part of God, you know, the whole three powers thing. And just seeing some like divine person just had obviously been this injured, that they had been killed, just like grouped out and just being worn as a skin suit, was horrifying just in that. But then suddenly I was alone again. Just me and this Jesus figure. And he stared at me. The whispers were gone, he had stopped preaching, and he just stared at me. Like he knew, like, and I could tell from there, he knew that I knew it wasn't Jesus. And that fucking smile he had. I could see the skin smile, but I could see like another mouth under it. I know you may say, oh, how you remember this vividly? If it was a dream, you usually don't do that. But I'm sorry, this is horrifying. You know, seeing this from first person, not even realizing it's a dream at first, that's pretty fucking horrifying. So I can remember much of this pretty fucking good. And I remember how suddenly, like, the whispers came back, being louder, like some sort of warning or something. And he just kept looking at me. Like he knew I was dreaming before I myself had realized I was dreaming. And then suddenly, I woke up. I woke up in a cold sweat, my heart beating like just, what the fuck's going on? And I just sat there. It was like an hour before my alarm was about to ring, and I just sat there. I couldn't close my eyes because every time I did, I just saw that thing and I was terrified. I remember how I just sat and watched YouTube for like the next hour. Like, but that fucking hell, that just kept with me. You know, every time I see this, like, just a painting of Jesus, like just the other day, I saw this Wendigoon iceberg, like Bible theory iceberg video, I think it was. I can show it up as well. He just, for like one moment, he showed a painting of Jesus, and I just felt the same fucking dread I felt in that dream I had. God, it fucking scared me. And I do wonder what it was. If it's not Jesus, what the fuck was I watching that day? Or like that dream. But hey, it's a nightmare. Not gonna hurt one, probably. And now you may ask, like, oh, why did you share this? I mean, it's an interesting dream, and I feel like I've already put it up in my phobia project. Really, that triple L on top of that. And I thought, why not share it here as well? It's an interesting story. And I also had other weird, kooky dreams, which I can also probably share in the future. Like I had a fall a spaceship into space, seeing them become putrid mutant creatures and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just a dream, and in reality, probably nothing I should be scared of, unless it is real and I am now being haunted by whatever the fuck this creature was. But hey, that's a me problem, I suppose. But anyway, I guess thank you for, if you're still here, thank you for listening in to my ramblings. Stay cool, all you beautiful and wonderful people out there. Finger gun.